Right, yes. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is an international call. Thanks for attending today's training. As you know, we try and vary everything that we do, and often someone will say something to me during the week which will give me an idea for today. I was speaking to someone earlier in the week, and they mentioned that they'd had a few people leave the business. Now, in any company in the world, you're always going to have people leaving a business. Cash effects, I don't know what the numbers are, but we have a hugely high retention rate. I've been involved in startup companies over the years in various companies. You know, for example, I was with a company called Melaleuca, which was a product-based company, and I don't know what the attrition rate there was. It was probably around 60, 70%. And you can always build a business even regardless of that kind of thing. The thing that I really wanted to cover with you, though, is it's always a bit of a shock to me when someone leaves CashFX. Even though it's a small number, I feel sorry for those people because they are making a very, very bad mistake. And they're making that mistake based on a couple of fundamental things. And often the reason that they've left the company is because they're looking at the fees and they're just focusing on the fees and they're not seeing the big picture. And, you know, I see the companies that these people go to, and unfortunately for them, you know, as always, you know, they are things that, you know, glisten. Everything that glistens isn't necessarily gold. And in 6, 12 months, they're going to be starting off all over again with another company when that company goes down. I see people jumping into crypto companies, for example. Well, again, you know, in the history of network marketing crypto, how many companies have survived? Well, that's none, because it's very simple. There's not the liquidity in the market. Those of you that have seen my presentations where I'm talking about the due diligence, and in fact, I did a training on the due diligence the other day. It's one of the first things I look for. It's a crypto product. It is almost certainly going to fail at some stage in the future. So it's a real shame for those people. Now, the fact that they've left, those are the people that really don't come on these calls. The fact you're on this call today. So in a way, this call isn't for you. It's actually for the people in your team. It's going to help you help them understand you know, or stop them from making a very bad mistake. You know, someone, you know, I often hear the comment, oh, well, I can make more money in that business. Well, you might be able to make more money short term in that business, possible. But the problem is, it's all about a company that's going to be around long term. You want to be in a company that's going to be around long term. That's where the real money is. And that's where these people are making the mistake. They're jumping off into something that's not going to be around very long. And so they put their money into it. They'll lose their money. They'll go on to another deal, lose their money, and so on and so forth. So this is why CFX is so special. Now, little caveat there, there's no such thing as a guarantee. I cannot guarantee you that CFX is going to be around long term. However, all the due diligence on this company, proper due diligence, points to the fact that the company will. And everything they're doing, you know, the things that are getting launched in the next few weeks, incredibly exciting, and puts us in an amazing position. So yes, you know, you might find something that might be able to make money short term, if you're a passive member, I might add, not if you're a business builder. But longer term, it's all about long term. You know, you work your way up to the 100K pack, you're making $100,000 a year, which is probably 5 times what many of these people are earning now, you know, in their normal lives. You know, it's worthwhile waiting. Whereas, as I said, in those other things, they're going to be jumping from deal to deal. So I just thought about one of the things I want to cover today is two things really. As I said, it's almost certainly not for you guys. One of the, as I said, the reason that people leave a business is because they're ill-informed. You know, they didn't go on the training events. They don't know what they've got with CashFX, and therefore it's very easy to jump into something because someone says, you know, you can earn, you know, a few extra percentage points or something like that. Without understanding or without doing proper due diligence on that project. So I'm going to look at the fees today with CashFX, you know, why we have them and how they work. So you get a good understanding of that and the importance of having them. And then I'm also going to talk about the importance of just focusing on one project. Now, I have done this before, but it is, again, it's worthwhile repeating. just so that everyone understands the importance of building only one network marketing business. You can diversify, as I'm going to talk about. No problems with that at all, but just you need to have one network marketing business to build, because you can't make money with more than one. So let's just start off with going through the fees and why they're important and what they do. Because as I said, a lot of people focus on that, particularly if you're a passive member. I often see people focusing on these fees. It's not about the fees, it's about the bottom line, what you actually make at the end of the day, which is often the case in any kind of business. You know, if you invest in something or you're working a business, there are always costs associated with that business. It's your net profit at the end of the day, which you're taking away, which is the important bit. So CFX is no different in that respect. So, you know, when you buy a pack, as we know, in this instance, 1K is purchased here, the 30% is taken, that is paid out to the Academy pack. Now, the key thing here is that CashFX pays out 100%, which is very unusual. The 70% is also not touched by the company, because that goes towards your trading returns and that kind of thing. The company makes their money by taking a percentage off the top. So the company are putting their money where their mouth is, if you like, and are earning their money from the trading. Therefore, they're in a fantastic position to basically pay us out 100% here. So this 30% is important. It's actually important for the compliance of the company as well, because this is where we're getting paid. We don't get paid here, particularly when we get the copy trading next month. What you're going to see is, hang on a second. You know, this money is not even going to be in with CashFX. It's going to be directly with the broker. So members' money, they'll be setting up their own regulated broker account that you know, is completely separate from CashFX. We don't receive any commissions on that at all, and that's important. But the 30% here is also very important, because we're getting paid from the product, which is the Academy program, which is also being launched next month, which is you know, a government accredited program, which I think is a first for a network marketing product. So in any business like this, you know, it is important that there is fees, because obviously if you don't have fees of any kind, then how are we going to pay the field? And if there's no fees, then why would anyone go out there and bother introducing other people to the business? So of course this is important, you know, from the get-go. But it's the one that people tend to often get really sort of humpy about is the 20% at the back end. Now, it's really important to stress that one of the key elements of CashFX, which is so clever and why we have such a high retention rate, is the fact that we don't have a monthly fee or auto ship. That is what a lot of companies do. When I was with Melaleuca, it was the same thing. You know, we had a product or products that we were selling, and people had to buy those products every month. Now, the challenge with that is because it's the money's coming out of someone's bank account up front. And under those circumstances, if you're not making much money from the business can end up costing you money rather than making you money. And therefore, a lot of people then decide, you know what, I came into this business to make money and I'm not making money. It's costing me money, so I leave. So the attrition is very high. And that was one of the key reasons why I left Melaleuca, was because I could see that it was very difficult to build a residual income in that company. And I was also referring people, because that's the business. You refer people, don't you, to a project. And unfortunately, you know, I knew that sort of 8 times out of 10, those people were going to fail. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to refer something to something that was going to basically lose the money rather than making the money. So I ended up leaving that business and actually came out of the industry for a while until I found other things that I felt were better for people to make money with. So that's one key thing. Now, if this was a transaction fee, 20%, that would be very high, but it's not. It's a success fee, because basically the company achieves the results, and then you're paying a percentage of those results at the end of the day. So again, this is very normal. If you, for example, set up with a broker directly, you know, independently, completely separately from CashFX, with a copy traded account, because there are copy traded programs out there, you know, often they will charge, the broker will charge up to 35% as a success fee. So the success fees are really, you know, normal and important to any kind kind of operation like that. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a success fee. But unlike everything else out there, CashFX pays 100% of that money back to us in the field. Now, if you are a passive member with a small pack, you may look at that 20% and go, well, I'm not really benefiting. Well, again, that's not the case. I've got people in my team that are making phenomenal incomes from the matrix. If they've been positioned in an active team, do you remember how this works? Let's say I introduce Fred, I introduce Steve, and introduce Jane, and then I introduce someone here. This person here is now going to start picking up the matrix commissions. And if this person starts building a business, then all of a sudden this person's going to start picking up very serious income. So I was talking to a friend of mine, he's kind of sort of dabbling with the business, and he's not really doing that well. He's not really sort of getting any success, but he's introduced his family and that kind of thing, which is working well for him, but he hasn't got a huge team personally. But he was showing me how he's making $3,000 a month from the matrix. And that is, he just said, I can't believe it. He said, I'm pinching myself, I'm making all this money and I haven't had to do that. So the way this has been set up is extraordinary, because it means that even passive members can make money if they're in an active team. You have to be in an active team, of course, to make money from the business. All you need to do is just upgrade your pack over time to pick up the additional levels of the matrix. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. There is a gentleman called Al in CashFX. He is a very, very lucky individual. He's someone that I have no idea who he is, but someone in my upline introduced him shortly after I joined, and Al was positioned here in my business. So you could imagine how many people he's got underneath him, 1,000, 10,000 or more people underneath him in the matrix, that he is making unbelievable amounts of money. So he actually got a bit lucky there, to say the least, positioned in that position. But anyway, I digress. But the fact is, the matrix is as fair as it can be. I see other companies that have matrices, and as I said, they fund it by the monthly fee, and the monthly fee comes out of people's bank account up front. And of course, that then causes attrition. And the challenge always is with that kind of thing is you want to charge more money, because that puts more money into the matrix. But the higher you charge, the higher the attrition. So it's a kind of sort of a bad circle, if you like, with those kinds of businesses. So often they'll only charge $50 or something like that, maybe $100, still getting high attrition, but it's only putting a relatively small amount of money in the plan. Whereas with CashFX, that 20%, which is taken afterwards, and this is the point, you are making a lot of money. So it works out, if you take off the 30% when you come back in and buy the pack, and the 20%, you're making around 10% a month. Think about that. It's 100% odd a year. That is off the charts. Now, as I said, there may be other businesses out there that might be offering a little bit more percentage, but the key difference is that CashFX is going to be around in 10 years for you to enjoy the 100K pack, where those other ones won't. And of course, you're just going to be jumping from deal to deal to deal. So it's really important to understand that, the company is being remarkably clever and fair with regard to this 20%. It's a success fee. They've achieved the success. You've received your commissions from that success. You're then withdrawing your money, that success fee is taken, but the company doesn't even keep that. 100% of that goes to the rewards plan, which is paying out huge money to people in the business. And the exciting exciting thing for people like, for example, Roger, I was telling you about, that's making $3,000 a month from the business. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It really is. Because, of course, what's going to happen is those people are going to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. And every time they withdraw their money, it's going to put more and more money into his matrix. So, as I said, you can be a passive member and end up with extraordinary income in addition to the money you're making from the product, from the trading itself. I'm on a 100K pack. When I withdraw my 200K from that, $40,000 goes into the rewards plan. Think about that. That is huge money. If you have someone on your 7th level on a 100K pack, that can pay out up to $100,000 from just one person. So this 20% is extraordinary. But it's, as I said, if someone's on a $300 pack, they're not introducing anyone to the business, so they're going to be getting around net 10% a month, but they are going to build up to the 100K pack over time. It's going to take them quite a few years to get there, but you compare that with anything else on the market, it's still hugely better. And the point that these people are missing is the fact that they're jumping from a rock solid company into something that will almost certainly not be around in 6 or 12 months, and then they're going to be starting all over again. So they're going to be continuing on that broke cycle of looking this far ahead of them and jumping from deal to deal just simply because something else out there offers a few more percentage points up front. It is not the smart thing to do. You've got to understand that what we've got here with CashFX is remarkable. And once we get the copy trading, where is your money? It's with the broker. It doesn't get better than that. And that's why the business is going to absolutely explode. And I have to say, again, even if these people are passive members, I think what you're going to see as we move forward with the copy trading, it's going to be very difficult for people not to refer their friends and family to the business, because you're showing them something where you're making a remarkable return on a weekly basis, where your money is safe in a regulated broker account. It really, as I said, doesn't get better than that. So I just wanted to share that with you, because many of you may have teams already. It is, as I said, very rare that we get people leaving CFX, but those people are leaving because they don't understand what they've got, and they've been enticed into something just simply because they're looking here at the percentage rather than the big picture of where something is going to be around long term and that kind of thing. So that's just one of the things I wanted to share with you. So hopefully that sort of clears it up. This 20% is genius. It's paid out afterwards. So people are basically, they could actually have a 90% fee. Doesn't matter. It's how much money you're taking home at the end of the day. Just as I said earlier, it's like a business. You're going to have overheads, you're going to have costs. It's how much you make at the end of the day that counts. And as I said, to have a 10% return a month is ridiculous. I've got a lot of very successful people in my team, people that run for example, one chap, Jim, he has ran a £500 million investment fund, private investment fund, and he said, if I told people you could make 100% a year in that kind of environment, people would laugh at me. You can't do that, but that's the thing with CashFX, you can. So hopefully that's been helpful for you. And I'm now just going to go through some slides with you. So let me... Now you're going to have to apologise. These are the old slides. Ray's not around this weekend. He's working on his traditional business. For those of you that don't know, Ray runs a very successful software company, and he's got a big thing on this weekend. They've got to sort of sort out a load of technical stuff. Anyway, Ray is very much the brains behind the operation here. So I couldn't actually change the slides over to the new format. So just apologies there. But anyway, I just want to get this across to you. And as I said, guys, this is almost certainly not for you, but it's for potentially, it's for your knowledge. So you can, if you're talking to people that are doing this kind of thing, you can share it with them, what they should be doing. And there is actually, I believe, this training in the back office anyway, in our library, that you can go and get people to have a look at as well, because this is really important. And it's a mistake I see people make all the time in network marketing. In fact, when I first got involved in network marketing, the first book I read was a book called Your First Year in Network Marketing by a gentleman called Mark Yarnell. And it was a kind of Bible. When I first started in network marketing, I'd just come from the corporate career. I was a company director. I did it all wrong. I was trying to bring my corporate skills to the network marketing world, and you just can't do that. And of course, I was scaring people off. People were sort of looking at these amazing presentations, like I've been presenting to a board of directors or whatever, which is what I did. I used to work on massive multi-million-pound contracts. So it was too much. And so I had to learn a lot. And I just figured out, because as I said, my first 6 months was a disaster. I got absolutely nowhere. And so I started to think, well, look, other people are making a lot of money in this industry. So what are they doing that I'm not doing? And so I started reading up and learning and watching or listening to CDs by, for example, Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. Fantastic video. That was my Bible. Every time I got in the car, I was listening to it if I wasn't on a call, which I was on a call a lot. But the fact is, it gave me tremendous understanding of how the business works. And Mark Yarnell's book as well was really, really helpful. And one of the chapters is about only doing one business and the importance of that. So let me just go through these slides, and hopefully this will resonate with you. As I said, it's something you're almost certainly not doing, but just, if you've got people in your team talking about doing it or whatever, then just advise them against it for the following reasons. So, as the heading goes, is diversification a good idea? Well, it depends on the diversification. There we go. Okay. So these are what I consider, good diversification. And that's what I do, by the way, guys. I invest in startup companies and other things. And I'm about to start on a big thing about, investing in rental properties, that kind of thing. It's about creating passive income streams in the future. I'm very dark here. See if I can turn the light on. Makes a difference. Yeah. To make passive income streams, use the money to make money, make the money work for you. If anyone's read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about the cash flow quadrant, about going from someone that works, uses their time for money, to making money work for them, and that process of going through that ranks. And of course, network marketing, and in particular CFX, is a fabulous model to enable you to do that. And if you're making money from CFX, then you can use that money elsewhere. By the way, on Tuesday evening, for those of you that are heading towards 100K pack or building a significant business with CFX, there is going to be a seminar. I have consultants that protect money and assets that I have, and so I thought it'd be a good idea to share that with you guys. It may not be appropriate for everyone, because you've got to get up to the sort of the income, but once you get there with CFX, and of course remember, every single one of you will get there. Even if you're slow with this business, it doesn't matter, you're still going to get there in the end. That's the exciting thing about CFX, is that everyone will get there in the end. You can accelerate the process if you're building a business and that kind of thing, but everyone will get there in the end. So that seminar, I think, is going to be very useful for a lot of people, if not now, in the future. So so these are things that I consider good diversification: rental properties, precious metals, cryptocurrencies. Again, we get paid in Bitcoin. Now, early on, I wouldn't necessarily say hang on to Bitcoin. In fact, I wouldn't, because Bitcoin, as we know, can fluctuate. And if you're looking to save up the money to buy a pack, and I've seen this, by the way, people in my team that left money in Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin dropped, and they ended up not having enough money to then buy their pack. So you don't want to do that. But once you've got up to your 100K pack and you're making really good money from the business, then yeah, by all means, keep a percentage of your income in, for example, Bitcoin. And of course, this is something that Waskar recommends. Waskar is someone that has got 10,000 Bitcoin or more personally. So serious, that's over $100 million worth of Bitcoin. And he strongly recommends that. He believes Bitcoin is going to go up significantly in the future. So again, that's a good long-term investment. He said, just buy it, ignore the ups and downs. You're going to get that. You might buy it here and it drops down here. Don't worry about that. Just let it, it'll come back. So a good long-term process. Startup companies is another thing that I do. Again, that does take quite a lot of skill. You need to sort of know what you're doing. You need to do a lot of due diligence on the project. And of course, really important to stress, all these things have risks attached to them. So don't think that something's guaranteed. Probably rental properties is a safe, relatively safe one. But all of these will have fluctuations. It's probably the most risky now. That's, by the way, why I'm actually now moving towards going into more staid and sort of steady, safe and steady rental properties rather than investing more in startup companies. There's got a lot of money tied up in those companies right now. Hopefully, things are looking good, but there is a higher risk with those that particular strategy. So this is good diversification. Bad diversification, as I've already hinted, is trying to build more than network marketing business. Why? Well, on paper, it seems like such a good idea. Of course, this is why people do it. So first and foremost, by building more than one business, you can make twice the money. That makes sense, doesn't it? So if you've got one person in this business and you've got another person in this business, great. You're making double the income from that. If one business does not appeal to someone, then you might be able to show them the other one. So listen, I don't have to like that. Oh, okay, that's no problem. I can show you this business here. Safety in numbers. So let's say you've got a portfolio of 2 or 3 businesses. If one of those businesses goes down, doesn't matter. You've got 2 other businesses that are still going. That's going to be great. And you can sell it as a package. Listen, I'm a financial person, I'm giving you this amazing solution, this overall financial solution. So this is why people do it. It looks very appealing on paper. And this is the reality. It sends out an absolutely terrible message. It reminds me of one of those old sketches where someone's wearing a flasher mat with sort of watches under either side, isn't it? I've got them here. If you want there, you've got them here. It sends out, if you are a leader in your business, and again, Mark Yarnell in that book, Your First Year in Network Marketing, talks about this, and you are doing this, if you are building a business and then you suddenly say to your team, listen, I've got a great idea. We're going to go and build this over here as well. What have you just told your team? You've just told your team that actually I don't trust this business. I don't really trust it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do multiple businesses just to be on the safe side. It sends out a terrible message. And we see this again and again. In fact, there is a leader, or was a leader, I won't mention names, that did this just recently, devastated their CFX business. Everyone stopped building their business as a result. Causes complete confusion. I mean, think about this. It is hard enough. You guys are all on this training call because you want to learn the business. It's hard enough to learn one business, not multiple businesses. Can you imagine? And the amount of time you'd have to invest in training people on different businesses and this, that, and the other. An absolute nightmare for people to learn. Unless you're looking at a business model where no one knows anything, and you're trying to do it all for them, but that's really not good business. And there's only 24 hours in a day. Now, again, one thing that you'll hear me say a lot, if you look at the top income earners in CFX, very different people, very different age groups, very different countries, very different cultures, very different personalities, completely different people from all over the world. And yet they're making a lot of money with CFX. Why? Well, it's because they are laser focused on CFX, and they are working very long hours on the business. They're treating it like a real business. That's always the way. If someone gets to the end of the week and they've made a couple of calls, guys, that's not building the business. Sure, you can make money with CFX. That's the great feature of the business. But if your goal is to make a lot of money, then you have to treat it like a real business. Imagine a business where, you've got overheads to pay and this, that, and the other. There's real urgency there. And that's what you see with the top leaders. They are on it the whole time. So, and there is not, and there are some days I hardly have time to eat. I am so busy. So how am I going to do more than one business? It's impossible. So what you end up doing is diluting. You end up just doing a little bit here, a little bit there. You're dabbling. So again, you're going to really struggle. And so this is the point. No one has ever managed to make big money from building more than one business ever. Now, I do see big leaders, sometimes, bringing in other online people in particular. They can sort of do it. The problem, my problem with that is that, of course, they can do it, but people in their team struggle with that if they're trying to do more than one business at once. So really not healthy. And the key thing is, why would you want to anyway? You know, CFX is easily the best business in the industry I've ever seen after 20 years in the business. You know, if you've seen my presentations, that I focus on the due diligence on the project. Everything stacks up, you know, and it's basically being set up as a legacy company. There's no upfront monthly fees. Everyone is making money in the business, a 90+% retention rate. As I said earlier, we still lose that 5% on people that are leaving as the company. As I said, they don't know what they've just done, and it's a disaster. As Winston Churchill said, people will stumble across the truth. Unfortunately, most people pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and carry on as if nothing's ever happened. So it's because they don't know what they don't know. They didn't come on the training events, that kind of thing. So they've left thinking they're making a good decision when they really aren't. And we also have easily the best rewards plan I've ever seen. Again, I covered this in a previous training. You know, when you really understand the CFX plan, it is insane the way this company is going to pay out. It's paying out hugely more than any other business up front that I've seen. And in the future, my goodness, you know, absolutely crazy as everyone in your business starts getting up to the higher packs. That 30% is going to be huge. The 20% at the back end is going to be huge. So people are going to be making really hugely life-changing money with CFX as we move forward. So let's carry on. So the keys of creating life-changing income, you know, do proper due diligence. You know, this is a key thing. I think those other people, you know, haven't really thought through what they're doing. If they leave CFX, they haven't really understood what they're looking at. What they're doing is they're looking, often I see this with network marketers, they look at two things. You know, how much money can I make? And has everyone been paid? But those are not due diligence factors. I mean, obviously, the importance of the fact you've got to have a business that pays out good money. But, you know, just because a company pays out doesn't mean anything. Every single Ponzi in the world pays out initially. It's the whole idea. It basically brings people into the business until there's enough people before they run off the money. It's the other factors that are really important. For example, if you look at CFX, the fact that they're bringing the payment processor in-house, you know, why do that? You know, it's not just to make sure that the payments are streamlined and faster and everything else. The most important thing is to protect the company. It costs money to do something like that. It's very difficult to do that. And that's what they're doing. And they're doing it to protect the company. Because you think about that. Right now, they're going through LifePay, very reputable company, but it's a third-party company. The company has no control over that company. If it fails, then what happens? You know, CFX goes down the tubes because there's no money in, no money out for months and months and months. That is a real risk. So CFX are bringing it in-house to protect the company. Ponzi's don't do that because, of course, why would they? They don't want to spend money on it. They want to just take the money. That's the key thing. So again, so many factors in CFX that adds up, you know, to show that this company is a proper company. So you've got to select one business and one business only. So those people, if they've left CFX and going to do that other business, that's fair enough. They're doing one business. But as I said, it's important you do this part first as well to make sure that you're in the right business. And then you've got to stay absolutely laser focused on that business. You know, don't look at anything else. This is your focus. And, you know, again, if you look at the top leaders in CFX, they are laser focused. Virtually everything in their life gets pushed back a little bit. And of course, you know, this is actually, I mean, obviously it is quite intrusive, you know, doing this, you know, because I literally work 7 days a week, sometimes from 7 in the morning till 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. So it's hard work. But again, why? Because when I was in the corporate world, I worked very hard, but I didn't work, obviously, those kinds of hours, but I used to work long hours. Obviously, as a sales director in the City of London, they wanted their pound of flesh, and, you know, and I was incentivized to go out there and bring in big projects. So I was making a lot of money in that, but the fact is, it was linear income. So every year I was having to start off again and again and again. In our industry, you work hard for a few years, position yourself ahead of what's going to happen, build a team, create that that momentum, push that snowball up over the hill and let it roll away, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Then you can't stop that. And that's the beauty of the business. You work hard for a short period of time, and then you don't have to work anymore. It's as simple as that, because you're getting those passive income streams coming in, and that's one of the most wonderful things about this industry, and why I'm in it, and why I'm so excited about it, because I love passive income streams. So key thing: create a very strong why and set your SMART goals. I might do another training on this, by the way. It's been a while since I've redone this, so maybe we'll do this again in a next week or the week after, because it is so important that you have a strong why. If you don't have a strong why, you're never going to find the how. And so if you're like, oh well, I quite like the idea of making money from this business, that's really not strong enough. Again, if you look at the leaders in the business, they're all very motivated, they have a strong why, and they're also very goal orientated. I was talking to one of the new directors. We had 4 directors in one day the other day, this week, coming in. They've achieved that rank this week, and that was absolutely fantastic to see. And I was talking to one of the directors, and he was talking about how he's got everything mapped out. He's got a whiteboard, he's got it all planned out, he's planned out how he's going to get to president. This is something else I see again and again. People have SMART goals. They're targeting, they're moving towards goals, time frames, that kind of thing. It's so important that if you want to become successful, make sure you become goal orientated. And again, the training is in the back office, but I will do probably another training on this again in the coming weeks, because it is really important that you do that. And then take massive action until you hit your goals. So there's a fabulous video. It's one of my favorite out there, by a gentleman called Art Williams. He's a gentleman that he was broke. He was a broke school teacher. He basically taught American football at a local school, and but he felt he could do better. And he wasn't anyone special. He wasn't super intelligent. He, wasn't, super good looking. He said people like that always intimidated him. These successful people in their suits and everything else, smart people always intimidated him. But he said that what he found is, as he moved forward in his business life, that smart people often really struggle to make money, really good money, because they're always figuring out why things won't work. They're always trying to figure out shortcuts and everything else. And he said the bottom line is, what you do is you just go out there and you do it, and you do it, and you do it until you get the job done. And so there's a great video of his speech that he at an event, and he talks about this, the fact you just do it until the job gets done. And he built up an insurance company from scratch, and he's now a multi-billionaire as a result of that. So that's it, guys. So let me just come out of this. That's it, guys. I mean, I hope you found that useful. It's a bit different than what we normally do, but it's important you get an overall understanding of your business. And, and if you have people in your business you see doing these kinds of things, then what you can do now is you've got the tools, the information to be able to advise them that that's not the right way to go. If someone is looking to leave to join another business, point out to them the fact that the due diligence on CFX is world class. And it's not just about that little percentage point. It's about making an income long term. I'm sure those people that have left, would love to have an income of $100,000 a year passive income. And let me tell you, if you're making that kind of money from the business, if you're not referring people, I'd be amazed. So they'd end up making even more money. But what they've done is they've jumped into the next shiny object without doing proper due diligence, without thinking it through. And again, 6 months, they're going to be doing another deal, and then another 6 months, another deal, and so on and so forth. And so they'll continue on that broke cycle, that cycle which will keep them broke for the rest of their lives. So, as I said, if you see people in your organization do that, then you basically now have got the tools to stop them. So thanks for listening in today. Again, just a reminder, on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. UK time, we're going to be doing a seminar just for UK people, by the way. It's specific to the UK. It's basically the people that I use to protect my assets and that kind of thing. And as I said, it may not be appropriate for you right now, but if you're with CFX, you'll be making a lot of money in the future. and therefore that will be appropriate for future use. So, do come along to that. So, and hope you found that helpful, guys. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and take care.